My squash is coming along. I planted it kind of late because last year I had problems with it. Planted it early. It didn't really care for the amount of water it got, and it was still kind of cold this time last year. But it's coming along. And my onions are almost ready to get out of the ground. I like to leave them until that stalk just starts to dry completely out so that they get as big as they possibly can. I've already pulled out 10 pounds of big onions and about 5 pounds of baby onions, small onions. Mostly was pulled out of these pots here. And I just planted these squashes like 2 days ago, 3 days ago. And then that is some black-eyed peas that I kind of experimented with. They was planted a long time ago, and I just put them in there to see if they would grow. I need to really pull them out and just plant some more black-eyed peas in there. You can see my okra and my onions underneath it. My cucumbers. Lots and lots of cucumbers. This particular variety just doesn't really put out a lot of cucumbers. It doesn't put out flowers. That's the biggest thing. It doesn't have a whole lot of flowers on it. I don't know what to do. I need to get something to increase the flower production, I guess, in that bucket. But these are my other pickling cucumbers. I've got quite a few of them. I've already got I've got about 5 gallons of cucumbers pickling right now. I do the fermenting on my pickles. So what I do is you take about 2 cups of pickling salt and put it in a gallon of water, and then you soak your pickles in that pickling salt for about 7 days. And then on the 7th day, you pour the salt off, and you put Alma in your Alma water, and then it's usually like 2 tablespoons per gallon, something like that, and or 2 tablespoons per half gallon, and then you soak it in the Alma for a day, and then you dump out the water and everything, and then you soak it in vinegar for a day, apple cider vinegar, and then you pour that off, and then you either slice it or cube it or however you want to do your pickles, and then you layer it in the bottom of I have a pickling crock, and then you cover it with sugar, then you put another layer and cover it with sugar, then another layer, cover it with sugar. You just keep doing that, and you put your seasonings and stuff in there, whether if you want dill or pickling seasonings and all that. Put all that in there, and you allow that sugar to form a syrup. And once that syrup is made, you just take your pickles, put them in your jars, and then cover it with that syrup. Put your lid on it, and you're good to go. And it'll last about 6 months. These are my late broccolis, Brussels sprouts. I planted them pretty late, but they're just now getting their little Brussels sprouts on them. And then you go over here, and you can see the Brussels sprouts just piling on that one. And then there's another one that's just covered with little baby Brussels sprouts. Won't be long, so now I'll start being able to picking Brussels sprouts. But I really like these planting these marigolds in my buckets and stuff this year. Made a huge difference on the bee population, drawing in more bees and stuff. But my plants are doing very well. Still got a little issue with blight, but they're starting to get a little bit more healthy, a lot darker. You can see darker leaves. More Brussels sprouts. More tomatoes. This is my beefsteak tomato. There's quite a few tomatoes on those branches down there. And then my banana peppers. They've been doing really well. I've already pickled about a jar of those. And then these are my late bell peppers. They were planted late. There's a eggplant down there. And then here's some more eggplants. They're starting to put on. I picked my first big eggplant yesterday. And then this beautiful tomato. I mean, there's not a speck of blight on it. Just gorgeous. I mean, going everywhere, but not a single tomato on it. But there's flowers everywhere, so I'm hoping this thing starts to put out tomatoes pretty soon. And then more bell peppers. And there's an eggplant back there. More eggplants. You can see all the bell peppers on these plants. It's just loaded with them. And then in there, I've already bagged 2 half-gallon Ziploc bags of chopped bell peppers. So and then I've already got a bag of okra as well. So and then more tomatoes. My cabbage, I think it's just not. It's with the marigolds in there. It kind of covers the cabbage where I don't think it's going to work too well doing like I did, but it might. I don't know. It's still, there's a beautiful head inside there, but we'll see. I kind of got to take the leaves out and push the cabbage so the cabbage can get a little bit more sun. And this one, see, this one died. It completely died. Wasn't getting enough sun. And this one, I think it's going to die too. But some of them are doing really well. There's a nice, gorgeous head of cabbage right there. And some right there, and then there. Then my tomatoes. Marigolds everywhere. And this one probably going to die because it's not getting enough sun. I got to kind of push it back a little bit. There's some more Brussels sprouts. And then Brussels sprouts in there. And there's some more Brussels sprouts. And then there's a nice little head of cabbage starting. I did have some bugs, but I treated them and got rid of them. There's my kale. I love that variety of kale. I really need to get some seeds off of it this year because I can't seem to find the seeds for them. That particular variety. And that's more tomatoes and cabbage. Brussels sprouts. There's a different variety of kale. And then more tomatoes and my fig tree. It is just absolutely loaded with figs, and has been dropping a bunch of them off because it's been so dry and hot. But I've been increasing the water to it, so it's doing a lot better. It takes a lot of water. I mean, you got to water it every single day. If you miss a day, it starts dropping figs. So it's definitely not used to being in a hot, dry climate. My dahlias starting to bloom. This is what's called a double daylily. And once it opened up completely with the heat and stuff, aren't as pretty as they normally are. It's just been so dry. And then, oh wow, what happened here? Something went inside and tore up my greenhouse. Must have been a dog or something. Wow. I'm gonna have to come out here and fix that. And then my garlic's just about done. You can see the bulbs down underneath there. But it's starting to dry out. So it's going to have to be dug out here pretty soon. More daylilies blooming. Yeah. Right there. Right there. These are just now starting to open up. These double daylilies. And then my Asiatic lilies are going to start opening. I wish these things weren't so darn tall, so that, you know, like they get so big and then they flop over. I wish I could find a much shorter variety. My daylily seed pods are still not dried out yet. Then my my hollyhocks, all them seed pods that are on there from flowers that have bloomed and are fixing to bloom. See there? So I have thousands and thousands and thousands of seeds. And then here's the cannas. They're just covered with bees this morning. And their seed pods are starting to form. You see right there. You wait for that to dry out and you need to pull them off. The canna lily seeds, you really need to kind of scratch them. Scratch the surface of the seed. And it is kind of hard to do. I've seen a couple people on YouTube use like a grinder to kind of grind the seeds off, but I don't know. If you want a successful germination, you need to scratch them. I've tried planting them both ways, and the ones that have scratched are a lot better. I just planted these out here a few weeks ago. So they're struggling with the heat, but they're doing okay. And then my irises are getting root. They won't do much at all this year, but next year, this entire thing, after they've had a time to winter over and everything, will be covered. My daylilies back there aren't doing too hot, and my marigolds up here aren't doing all that great, and these hostas aren't doing too good. It's just so dry there because this big tree right here just sucks out so much moisture out of the ground that you really gotta water the heck out of it. I need to get a sprinkler system put in there, really, just to keep it wet. And then once you get up here where the sun don't get to the thing so bad, you can see that house has got a little bit of sun damage, but this one over here looks really good. And this one as well. These daylilies out here has got fixing bloom. These were all planted recently. That's another one of that kind I had on the other side, but these are all different varieties of daylilies. There's my kitty. who just insist on following me around every video. And then my hostas, you can see they're struggling with the heat. It's just really, really hot. And then these daylilies and stuff, they're struggling. These irises have been in there for a while, so they've got the roots set up, so they're doing, see how good they're doing. More hostas are not too bad, they're doing okay. I think I'm gonna have to move this hydrangea because the deer just keep eating it, and I can't ever get things to work. This daily is actually a daily that I made. I bred it off of 2 different daylilies about 6 years ago. But this is the first time it's ever divided. Actually, it's the second time because I got another one over there. But they just don't divide. And another problem with that one is the deer eat the flowers off as soon as they bloom. So they'll probably eat them off before the week's over with. They're just now starting to bloom. And there's that. There's blueberries doing alright. It's actually starting to grow pretty good, height-wise. So maybe in a couple of years, that thing will have some blueberries on it. Hostas are still struggling. My irises and that little Rose of Sharon in there that some deer or something keeps eating on. It's a seed pod for the iris to take it off and plant them. And see, the darn deer came and ate that one. So I guess I'm going to have to take out some deer this year because I keep eating my plants. Well, with the price of meat and stuff, I probably will take out a couple of them. And those are struggling. This is a Rose of Sharon tree, and it's just, I mean, I kept putting as much water as I could to it, but it just died. I mean, it's actually not dead, it's just dried up. I'll leave it in there because I can almost guarantee you it'll come back next year. You just think it's dead, but I don't actually think it's dead. And then, of course, my Rose of Sharon with bees flying everywhere. They're just all over that thing. Kind of wish it was closer to my garden. Anyway, that's my video for today. See Mr. Bee in there pollinating the flowers. Lots of bumblebees. Very little honeybees. I don't have, very seldom ever see a honeybee. I need to get me a hive. But anyway, that's today's video. Please like and share and subscribe so I can get some more people on the post. You have a good day.